everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So the market remains in a pretty steady state, let's say that. Looking at Georgetown this week, we did only have 6 sales though. So Georgetown sales only being at 6 is down from what we've been seeing the last few weeks. Lots of stuff in the sold conditional status. So next week we could see like 15 sales and everything's a bit delayed because of the conditions, but only 6 sales is definitely lower than what we've been seeing the last few weeks. We only had 10 new listings. I mean, it's more than the 8 we had last week. And then I think, the week prior to that we had 14. So we're still seeing like listings come on the market, but it's not at such a pace that our inventory is spiraling out of control. Another factor is we have stuff that keeps coming off the market, especially some of the higher price point stuff. Like they're coming off the market because they're just not getting the results they're looking for. So last week we had 4 properties completely come off the market and did not re-enter, yet, but still kind of keeps our inventory at bay when we have sales as well as properties coming off the market. It's just not causing things to spiral right now. Looking at Acton had 1 sale and 1 new listing. Glen Williams had no sales, but it did have 1 new listing, no sales or no new listings in Limehouse. And the rural market saw 1 sale. That's good because it's been pretty quiet there. But 3 new listings. The rural market is getting hammered right now with listings. I don't know what's going on. I do know that because of the price point of the rural market and the lack of buyers in those upper price points, we're not seeing a lot of movement, but we are certainly seeing quite a bit of inventory coming onto the rural market. So looking at active inventory, all of Halton Hills is up slightly this week to 114 active listings. Last week was 110. So 4 extra listings on our active listings is not a lot. There was a time in like May and June where every week I felt like I was jumping 10, 12 listings. So to see 4 is not that many, and with how much we have sold conditional, I still think a lot of those are going to firm up this week and then inventory will still be balanced. We're just not seeing a spiral right now. So Georgetown, they're up to 66 active listings from 65. So really, even though our new listings outpaced our sales because of stuff coming off the market, like it just didn't go up. We have been staying pretty steady in terms of inventory. The January 10th update I did, we had 67 active listings in Georgetown, and 6 weeks later we're at 66. This just shows that things are not really spiraling out of control right now. We are basically, our inventory's been the same. It took a bit of a jump from the mid 50s that first week of January to the January 10th week where we had 67 listings, but it's been staying basically steady within 4 or 5 listings at that number. So really interesting that we just are not getting a ton of listings on the market right now. So looking at our active price points, under 800,000 is up from 4 to 7 active listings. That's quite a jump for that price point. The interesting thing we're seeing is people starting to hold off offers again. So we did see one that was, in that 800 to million range. They relisted at $699 in hopes that they'll generate interest. It's a really weird market right now, but that sort of thing is starting to happen. So we're starting to see properties shift within our price brackets. Chances are they probably won't get the results they're looking for and they will relist next week back in the 800s. But for now, we're starting to see people test that holding off offer strategy again. 800 to $1 million is down slightly from 19 to 18 active listings, because the one went down to under 800, but that price point is still sitting at very low inventory considering the demand we're seeing under $1 million. 1 million to 1.5 million is also down slightly from 22 to 21 active listings. We had a couple sales this week in that lower under $1.3 million range. And so that price point is moving not as rapidly as under $1 million, but under 1.3 million is still seeing quite a bit of movement. The $1.5 million range, if you watch these updates, you know the story on here. 20 active listings this week, last week, 20 active listings this week. Nothing is moving in that price point. So it's just a really, really tricky pocket to find a buyer in if your house is on that higher end of the pricing. So now looking at Acton remained the same this week at 15 active listings, which is down quite a bit. When I was looking back at our numbers at the start of January, Acton was at 21 active listings. In December, we got up to 28 active listings in Acton. So sitting at 15 is pretty good news for the sellers in Acton in comparison to where things came from. Glen Williams is up slightly to 6 active listings. Limehouse remained the same at 1, and the rural market just keeps on climbing. 24 active listings last week, up to 26 active listings this week. Again, when I looked back at the start of the year, we were at 14 active listings, my first market update of this year for the rural market. We have seen almost no sales in the rural market this year, and inventory just keeps coming up. So 7 weeks ago, we were at 14 active listings, and we're now up to 26. That inventory, again, higher price points, they're not moving. So that inventory is piling on and it's not selling. It will be interesting to see how high the rural market inventory goes, but I think there especially people really need to start reevaluating their price points because the buyers just are not willing to spend what the rural properties are asking right now. So this week's market update is interesting because, you know, I kind of took a look back on where we came from 6-7 weeks ago at the start of the year, and we have really not seen a dramatic change in our market. Things are very stable. If anything, I would say buyers are even more active than they were at the start of the year. Our rural market is the only one that is really in sort of a downward spiral, and that should at some point start to negatively impact the pricing there. But the market is super stable. I don't know when this is going to change. I mean, as buyers start to buy up properties, we might feel a shift in demand, and that might do it. Listings should start to come on for the spring market. That might do it. But right now, I'm not really surprised to see that in February we didn't see a major downward spiral. I think it'll be April before we start to see that, just given how much demand we have out there. So I actually won't be back next Tuesday. I am on vacation next week and I won't really have access to doing my market update. So I will be back in 2 weeks. I will have February numbers for you and obviously a snapshot of what happens between now and that March update. So I hope you all have a great end of February and I'll be back in March. Have a great week, everyone.